Did you hear that? That is the sound of reality arriving. Not a wave, not a smooth flow, but a discrete, sharp, specific event, a lump of reality hitting a detector. We like to think the universe is smooth. We like to think that if you zoom in enough, things flow like water. But Richard Feynman taught us that if you look closely enough at the very bottom of existence, the universe stops making sense. It behaves in a way that is logically impossible. Today we are going to perform a thought experiment. It is an experiment that you have probably heard of, but you have likely never understood the full, terrifying implications of it. Feynman called this the Two-Slit Experiment. He famously said that this one experiment contains the only mystery of quantum mechanics. If you can understand this, you understand the flaw in our logic about the universe. To understand it, we need three things: a machine gun, a water tank, an electron gun. Let's break reality. Imagine you are standing in front of a steel wall. There are two holes cut into this wall, two thin vertical slits. We will call them hole 1 and hole 2. Behind this wall there is a backdrop, a screen or a detector that catches whatever passes through the holes. And in your hands you hold a machine gun. You aim at the wall. You pull the trigger. Use your common sense. What happens? You are spraying bullets randomly. Some bullets hit the steel wall and bounce off. Some bullets happen to align perfectly with hole 1 and pass through. Some bullets happen to align with hole 2 and pass through. If you walk around to the back of the wall and look at the backdrop, what do you see? You see two piles. One pile is directly behind hole 1. The other pile is directly behind hole 2. If you cover hole 2 and fire, you get a pile behind hole 1. If you cover hole 1 and fire, you get a pile behind hole 2. If you open both, you get the sum of the two piles. Pile 1 plus pile 2. This is simple. This is how things work. A bullet is a lump of matter. It follows a straight line. It goes through one hole or the other hole. It cannot go through both. Keep this picture in your mind. This is the logic of particles. Now, let's change the universe. Instead of bullets, let's use water. Instead of a gun, imagine a wave generator, a motor that pushes the water up and down, creating a steady ripple. The waves move toward the wall. The wave hits hole 1 and spills through. The wave hits hole 2 and spills through. But waves do not act like bullets. A wave isn't a lump. A wave is a disturbance. It spreads out. The ripple coming out of hole 1 spreads in a circle. The ripple coming out of hole 2 spreads in a circle. And now, magic happens. The waves overlap. Where a crest, the high point from hole 1 meets a crest from hole 2, the water goes twice as high. But where a crest from hole 1 meets a trough, the low point from hole 2, they cancel each other out. The water goes flat. If you measure the energy of the water at the back wall, you do not see two piles. You see a pattern. Strong waves, no waves. Strong waves, no waves. Bright, dark. Bright, dark, bright, dark. This is called an interference pattern. This is the fundamental distinction in classical physics. Particles go through one path and simply add up. Pew 109 million. 1 plus 2. Waves go find plus p hundred dollars. Waves go through both paths and interfere. I, you 109 million. 1 plus 2, 4. I chew 1 plus. I chew einer's ear. You are I or a wave. You cannot be both. Now, let's destroy your intuition. We are going to shrink down, smaller than a cell, smaller than DNA, down to the fundamental building block of matter, the electron. You hold an electron gun. Is an electron a bullet or is it a wave? Well, let's test it. Listen to the detector. When an electron arrives at a detector, it arrives as a lump. It makes a click. It hits a specific point. It has a specific mass. It has a specific electric charge. It behaves exactly like a tiny bullet. So, Logic dictates if I fire electrons at the two slits, I should get two piles. You fire them, thousands of them. You wait for them to build up on the back screen. You walk around the wall to check the result. You look at the screen, and your blood runs cold. It is not two piles, it is stripes. It is an interference pattern. The electrons, these tiny solid bullets, have created the same pattern as the water waves. Somehow they interfered. But wait, interference requires two things to crash into each other. Maybe the electrons are crashing into each other. Maybe there are so many of them in the air that they are bouncing around like billiard balls. So you slow down the gun. You fire one electron. It goes through the wall. It lands on the screen. You wait an hour. You fire a second electron. You do this for a year, one by one. They never touch each other. They never see each other. They are alone in the universe. You look at the accumulated hits on the screen. Even though they were fired one by one, the interference pattern remains. This is the moment physics broke. Think about what this implies. The single electron left the gun. It arrived at the wall. Did it go through hole 1 or hole 2? If it went through hole 1 or hole 2, if it went through hole 1, it implies it is a particle. But then it would land in pile 1. If it went through hole 2, it implies it is a particle. But then it would land in pile 2. To create an interference pattern, the electron must have known about both holes. It must have gone through hole 1 and hole 2 simultaneously. It must have interfered with itself. How can a single object be in two places at once? Let's look at the logic. We create a proposition. Proposition A, the electron went through hole 1. Proposition B, the electron went through hole 2. In our world, the world of human logic, one of these must be true. Imagine you are driving a car and you come to a fork in the road. You can go left. You can go right. You cannot go left and right. If you arrive at the destination and I ask, which way did you come? You might say, I don't remember, but you definitely took one of them. But the electron says, no. We cannot say the electron went through hole 1. We cannot say it went through hole 2. We also cannot say it went through neither. And we cannot say it went through both, because when we catch it, it is always a single lump. So what is it doing? The answer is that the electron does not exist as a thing during its journey. It exists as a probability amplitude. In the quantum world, we stop adding probabilities like bullets. We start adding amplitudes like waves. Phi total F phi 1 plus 1 plus phi oteller sins. When you square these amplitudes to find the probability of where the electron lands, you get the interference term. Mathematically, the electron is taking every possible path allowed by the universe. It is exploring the left hole. It is exploring the right hole. It is sniffing out the entire room. And only when it hits the back screen click does it decide to become a particle again. But do you believe this? It sounds like a trick. It sounds like we are missing something. Maybe the electron is going through one hole and nature is just hiding the path from us? Feynman says, let's stop guessing. Let's look. Let's catch nature in the act. We are going to modify the experiment. We want to know for a fact which hole the electron goes through. So we place a very strong light source behind the wall, right between the two holes. Electrons are invisible, but if we shine light on them, the light will bounce off the electron and we will see a flash. If the electron goes through hole 1, we will see a flash near hole 1. If the electron goes through hole 2, we will see a flash near hole 2. We were going to spy on reality. We turn on the electron gun. We fire the first electron. Flash. The sensor records. Electron went through hole 1. We fire the second electron. Flash. The sensor records. Electron went through hole 2. It works. We have proven it. The electrons really are particles. They are going through one hole or the other. They are ghosts. We are geniuses. We have solved the mystery. Now, let's look at the back screen to see our beautiful interference pattern. Wait, where are the stripes? Where's the interference? The pattern is gone. The moment we turned on the light to watch the electrons, they stopped behaving like waves. They started behaving like bullets. We get pile 1 and pile 2. You turn the light off. Interference returns. You turn the light on. 2 piles return. Nature is playing a game with you. It says you can know which path the electron took, or you can see the interference pattern. You cannot have both. Why? Is the electron conscious? Does it know we are watching? Is it shy? It has nothing to do with consciousness. It has to do with interaction. To see something, you must touch it. You aren't touching it with your hand. You are touching it with light. Light is made of photons. To see the electron, a photon must hit it and bounce back to your eye. But the electron is tiny, and the photon carries a punch. It carries momentum. When the photon hits the electron to tell you, hey, it's at hole 1, that collision knocks the electron off its course. The jolt given by the light destroys the delicate phase synchronization required for interference. The act of measurement disturbs the system. You cannot watch without touching, and you cannot touch without breaking the wave. But we are humans. We are stubborn. We don't like limits. We think, maybe the light was too strong, maybe we hit the electron too hard. Let's try to cheat the Heisenberg uncertainty principle. Attempt 1, turn down the brightness. We make the light dimmer. Weaker light means fewer photons. Maybe if the light is gentle, it won't disturb the electron. We fire the gun. Because the light is dim, sometimes an electron goes through without being seen. The photon missed it. When we don't see the flash, the electron lands in the interference pattern, stripes. But when we do see the flash, the electron lands in the particle pile, no stripes. We get a mixture. The electrons we saw acted like particles. The electrons we missed acted like waves. We didn't cheat nature. We just failed to watch some of them. Attempt 2, change the color. Okay, maybe the problem is the momentum of the photon. Physics tells us that blue light carries a lot of energy, hard punch. Red light carries less energy, soft punch. Radio waves carry very little energy, very soft punch. So let's use infrared light, very long wavelength, very soft touch. It shouldn't disturb the electron as much. We turn on the infrared sensor, we fire the electrons, and success! The interference pattern is there. We are watching them, and we have the pattern. We broke the rule. But wait, let's check our sensor data. What did the sensor see? The sensor says, I saw a flash. We ask, where? Hole 1 or hole 2? The sensor says, I don't know. The flash was too big. This is the trap. To use a soft touch, you need a long wavelength. But you cannot see anything smaller than the wavelength of light you are using. If the wavelength is longer than the distance between the 2 holes, you cannot tell which hole the flash came from. The flash covers both holes. You saw the electron, but you don't know where it went. And because you don't know which path it took, the interference pattern survives. The moment you tighten the wavelength enough to say it was definitely hole 1, the momentum of the light becomes strong enough to destroy the pattern. Nature has perfectly balanced the books. Delta X data, dit dot, delta BE, GH doubters. The more you know about position, delta X deltas, the less you know about momentum, delta deltas. There is no way to trick the system. So where does this leave us? It leaves us with a conclusion that made Albert Einstein uncomfortable for the rest of his life. It leaves us with a reality that feels fake. The double-slit experiment tells us that the universe is not made of hard, distinct objects that have definite properties at all times. An electron does not have a position until you force it to have one. It does not have a path until you force it to choose one. When you are not looking, reality dissolves into a cloud of pure potential. Think of a spinning coin. Is it heads or tails? While it is spinning, it is neither. It is a probability of both. To know the answer, you must slap your hand down on it. Now it is heads. But you had to stop the spinning to find out. You had to destroy the state of spinning to get the state of heads. The universe is a spinning coin, and we are the hands slamming down on it, trying to catch it. The electron is a wave? No. The electron is a particle? No. It is something we do not have a word for in our language. It is a quantum object. And here is the most disturbing part. This isn't just about electrons. You are made of electrons. Your brain is made of electrons. Your brain is made of electrons. The chair you are sitting on is made of electrons. If the building blocks of reality don't have a definite existence until they interact, then what is real? Does the universe exist in a complex superposition of states, only collapsing into the solid world we see because we are constantly interacting with it? Do you really believe the moon is not there when you are not looking at it? Quantum mechanics answers. We can calculate the probability that it is there. But until you look, the question has no answer. We started with a machine gun. We ended with the dissolution of reality. This is why Feynman called this the only mystery, because everything else in quantum mechanics, entanglement, tunneling, quantum computing, it all comes back to this. The universe allows for possibility to exist as a physical thing. It allows for information to define matter. So the next time you look at a wall or a stream of water or the light from a lamp, remember the double slit. Remember that behind the solid illusion of the world, there is a buzzing, ghostly ocean of probabilities, sniffing out every path, interfering with itself, waiting for you to look. Don't blink. You might change what happens next. If this broke your brain, good. That means you are starting to understand. This is the first video on our new channel, The Feynman Theory. We are dedicated to taking the most difficult, mind-bending concepts from Richard Feynman's legendary lectures and visualizing them so you can actually understand them. If you want to know what happens when we apply this double-slit logic to time itself, or why antimatter is just regular matter moving backwards in time, hit that subscribe button. Class is in session.